Did you play in the Meadowlands, the old Giant Stadium, when we played Argentina? I think it was like 2009.
It's my 100th cap.
Okay, amazing. It was.
Yeah.
All week, Bob Bradley, our head coach, he was brilliant. He designed this game plan. He said, look, we're going to get so-and-so is going to be tight. You're going to get cover to the left. You're going to get cover to the right. You get right up against them. We had that on lock, didn't we, Landon? We trained all week.
Oh, training was so good.
The whistle blew. And I tell this to all soccer fans, a phenomenon. The whistle blew. Messi gets the ball probably 10 times. I'm looking around like, what happened to what we worked on? Nobody wanted to go tight. Nobody could get near him. I was like, this is amazing. It's incredible.
Because you knew he's going to do it. Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, presented by Volkswagen. Volkswagen has long been a supporter of soccer in America and has proudly been a partner of U.S. Soccer for over 5 years.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to Unfiltered Soccer. I'm Tim Howard. He's Landon Donovan. We are presented by Volkswagen. You're on a heater.
Caffeine's hitting today. Let's go. I want to get into it. I don't drink coffee often, so when I do, it hits.
Why are you wearing a hat? You want to tell everybody why you're wearing a hat?
Stop. So today is actually an exciting day. Today is, I'm going to start calling it Hair Day.
Okay.
Because every 3 months, I get a whole new piece. And I was in Cabo last week, and it was really hot. And when it gets super, super hot, and it's the end of the cycle, the thing was starting to get a little dodgy, so I had to take it off.
Hang on.
No, I'm not taking off.
Okay, that's fine. But just for our audience visual, as we're setting up our podcast, which we do, we're sitting here like this, talking to our producers. In steams Landon, minus a hat, and I fell off the couch. I thought this is amazing scees.
What did you ask me?
I don't know. What did I ask?
You said, I can't believe you're still married.
How did I not get a screenshot of that? I'm such an idiot.
Thank God.
Oh,
okay.
God.
Anyway, moving on. All right, we're gonna get into. There's a lot to get into.
Yeah.
MLS playoffs, Premier League. Welcome as always. Follow our social media at Unfiltered Soccer. Subscribe, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. Leave a rating or a review. It helps, and then feedback at unfilteredsoccer.com is the email address to email Jordan. Okay, MLS conference semifinals to me. So let's start Vancouver LAFC. I feel bad for you guys on the East Coast for these games because it's so late. And it got late for me. And I was watching all the way into the first part of overtime. And I was so tired and I fell asleep. So I thought when I went to bed, it was 2-2. LAFC were up a man. Son had scored this fantastic free kick right at the death. Yeah, right at the death to tie it. It was like those moments where it's just like, in a movie, you'd be like, nah, that's not real. He's not going to, and he scored it. And I woke up thinking, of course LAFC won this game because they had a man up. Yeah. They were peppering Vancouver. And then I saw in a shootout that Vancouver advanced. What a phenomenal game. Great
game. And last game for our boy, Stevie Trendolo. So obviously that's going to be a huge miss for the MLS because he's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Great guy, great coach. But yeah, I mean, I also think, I love and I'm critical of a lot of DPs in this league for various reasons, and I think sometimes at a detriment we bring certain DPs in. But like Son is like, this is what when the rule was designed, this is what it was designed for.
Totally
right. Bring a guy in who can sell tickets, who can put butts in seats, who can compete, who wants to be there, who's motivated, who enjoys the league. So yeah, that was.
I mean, I don't know what it is in him, but he just. And by the way, Thomas Muller on the other side. Sure. These guys really care.
Same. Yeah.
Really care. And I'm like, God, I love this. Yeah. So Vancouver going to advance to play either San Diego or Minnesota. That game is tonight, Monday, as we tape this. You guys will be watching this on Tuesday, so that game will be over. Curious what you guys think. In the next round, does Vancouver get over the hump either at San Diego or hosting Minnesota? I think a lot of people are telling me they think Minnesota goes in and beats San Diego. They're like two very contrasting styles, so we'll see how that plays out. Yes.
Are you glossing over our guy Hugo?
No, I'm not glossing over.
Okay,
go ahead, read it.
No. You have a big problem. You're fired up.
No, okay. So Hugo Lloris says after the match. I get it. I've been in these moments, Tim, where you're frustrated, you're upset you lost, you're a sore loser. Dude, I'm such a bad loser sometimes. Like
Sure.
in golf, when I lose, I'm like, oh, is that really your handicap? Or guys are like, shut up, you idiot. I'm like, all right, I'm just mad I lost. So he said after the game about the turf in Vancouver. In lower divisions in France, they have even better artificial pitch than here in Vancouver. Tim, what's your favorite phrase?
Do me a favor.
Do me a dude. If you want good pitches, then go back to France.
Go play
Stop
in
the
lower
bitching,
divisions.
dude. Yeah, go play lower division in France. Shut up, dude. I hate this stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it. Someone asked you the question, what do you think of the turf?
Sure.
Just say, look, it's not ideal. Both teams had to play on it, whatever.
Yeah.
Just get over it, dude. I hate this. I really hate it.
The interesting, I really like Hugo Lloris.
He seems like a great guy,
always have.
But dude, this is not the moment.
No, but but what I would say is the interesting part about it, right, is just in general, it's amazing how like a singular experience can like taint your idea of what something looks and feels. I'll give you an example. My second game back in MLS when I came to Colorado. First game was 4th of July at home. Second game was away at Vancouver, right? I hadn't played on turf in 15 years, right? Played on turf, had a worldie, like I made this unbelievable save. And I remember thinking like, great place to play. I like this BC play. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like it's experiences. They lost.
Right. If they had won that game, and like, by the way, on the Muller header that he should do better. He should push it wide of the post. He kind of leaves it there if he pushes that wide and they win the game, he'd say, oh, it was fine. Both teams have to deal with it. Yeah. Just like, do me a favor, dude. Just enough. All right.
Just do me a favor.
At the end of the game, Tristan Blackman got sent off. That is going to hurt for sure. So he will not be there either in San Diego or home to Minnesota, so that it's going to be interesting. So we'll see what the matchup is. Again, curious what you guys think. Does Vancouver have enough to beat either of them? Could they beat one of them but not the other? And we'll know that tonight, our time, and you'll have already known that by tomorrow. FC Cincinnati, Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Whew.
This wasn't even a match.
Man, I was in the midst of watching football all day. I was chilling home. My wife took the kids out somewhere, so I was just sitting at home watching this. And it was cagey for like 15 minutes since you were okay. And then this kid, Silvetti, gets the ball on the left side and hits a really good cross. We're going to get into this, Tim, deep. Like, I don't know how you leave that guy, Lionel Messi, unmarked anywhere on the field, much less in the 18. And they kind of get dragged in as he kind of drifts towards the near post and then floats away. And then a really good header, like down into the grass. The grass is wet. It just skips past Celentano and then 1-0. And from there, dude, it looked like this game could not have been painted better for Miami. It's like, here, you have the ball. Messi's just going to kind of sit and float around the middle of the field. And the minute it turns over, bang, we're going. And if we get 7 of those chances, we're going to score 3 of them. They scored 3 of them, and it was 4-0.
Yeah. It's look, this whole Messi thing is wild. Like, to say it's a phenomenon, like, we know that. He's been great for how many years? How many decades? But I have a lot of let me preface this by saying there's going to be a lot of comments this week that say, Tim Howard, you're full of shit. Possibly.
I think that's most weeks.
Most weeks about most topics. But I have a lot of coaching friends, LD, that I respect. And I know you do too, right? And they will talk to me, bro. Sometimes I just want to record it and play it at like 10 o'clock at night so I can just fall asleep to it. They'll talk to me about tactics and what they think. And they're my friends, so I respectfully like listen. And I love having soccer conversations. But I'm literally like, good for your tactics. It's amazing. Can't win a game. Or it ain't working. And again, I just think, and I've said this to you before, you and I have had this conversation, somebody man-mark Messi. Now, that's primitive. We don't do that anymore in soccer. It's open and fluid and it's awesome, right? And actually, your tactics against Messi suck. They all do. Because this guy is the oldest guy in the league and he's running the show. And
he's the man.
Right, correct.
I don't know. What was the stat they told us? Or like 23 out of the last 26 goals, he's had a contribution.
Of course.
So he's the guy.
So here's a concept. And you brought this up, and I'll let you touch on it. It's not the old Remember when we were like in high school, you man mark him, and the coach would say, if he goes to the bathroom, you go with him, right? Like you grab his shirt. So no, this is when your team when Miami have the ball, you're in a shape, whatever that shape looks like. Fine, you keep 2 banks of 4, whatever. You slide, you cover. That's normal. You put this the right way. When the ball turns over, and now your team is in possession of the ball, just eliminate one of your players. Go lock on to Messi and go, right, we're now going to possess the ball with 10 players. Because when is Messi most dangerous?
Transition.
When the ball turns over. When you have the ball. Messi's at his most dangerous when you have the ball. So anyway, yeah.
And if you think, I mean, just go watch the goals. They do score goals when they have the ball, they're in possession,
of course.
But not as many, and not even close to as many. I don't know the exact data, but the minute the ball turns over, they are so dangerous. They find him immediately. They don't care who's on the ball, whatever. It's like, fine. And we used to do this with Beckham, with Keane. You do it at big clubs with big players. You're just like, you find the guy, you give it to him, and you let him be the quarterback, basically.
But that's go ahead.
No, I mean, this is in other sports. This is if you have 2 great wide receivers and one of them's out injured.
Sure.
The number 1 receiver, you double team. The safety, the cornerback, that's it. And if someone else beats you, fine.
Totally.
Like you can. And I actually watched the Chiefs Colts yesterday. The Chiefs said, look, if you're going to throw the ball around us and whatever, that's fine. But Jonathan Taylor, your MVP candidate running back, he's not going to run on us.
Right.
That's it, period. We're taking him away. They did, and they end up winning the game.
And in the NBA, they double the best player.
That's right.
Out of his hand.
That's right.
In baseball,
let someone else shoot it.
In baseball, when there's runners on and the big boy comes up, they walk him.
They walk him.
So, but to your point, right, where we're having a soccer conversation, to your point, if you're in possession of the ball, if my team's in possession of the ball, and I lock on to Messi, when the ball turns over, to your point, every single player is conditioned, give it to Messi. Give it to Messi. So now, as soon as they look up and your man is, I'm draped over your man like a blanket, you're like, all right, well, I got to play to someone else. Like every single
Or if
time.
you do, he's there. And by the way, so if you're New York City, who beat Philly, and we're going to get into that right now, all week in training, I don't know who it is, whoever they're going to designate, whoever, defensive midfielder, whoever, center back, whatever, who they're going to designate. In training, you work on having the ball, and where is Messi? Where is Messi? Where is Messi? And he gets the ball, bang, foul, end the play. Bang, foul, end the play. There will be a few moments where he wiggles free and does what he does.
Of course.
But instead of 15 moments like that, make it 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And you got a good chance to win the game.
I want to interject here. Did you play in the Meadowlands, old Giant Stadium, when we played Argentina? I think it was like 2009.
It's my 100th cap.
Okay, amazing. It was.
Yeah.
So, and we've told this story. I have to say it again because the whole Messi thing creeps up. So all week, Landon just said, this is how you train. All week, Bob Bradley, our head coach, he was brilliant. He designed this game plan. He said, look, we're going to get so-and-so is going to be tight. You're going to get cover to the left. You're going to get cover to the right. You get right up against them. We had that on lock, didn't we, Landon? We trained all week.
Oh, training was so
all
good.
week. It was good. We got up against, I don't know who was playing Messi in our team, but he wasn't nearly as good as Messi. So we were up against, bro, the whistle blew. And I tell this to all soccer fans, a phenomenon. The whistle blew. Messi gets the ball probably 10 times. I'm looking around like, what happened to what we worked on? Nobody wanted to go tight. Nobody could get near him. I was like, this is amazing. It's incredible.
Because you knew he's going to do it. And I get that. I'm not saying you can completely lock him down, but just play the percentages. The less times he touches the ball, the better your chances are.
Okay, here's where people think I'm stupid. Could you not get like the most athletic college kid first year on your team, the most athletic guy you've ever seen, and have to play soccer, and go, look, I'll give you a contract extension next year. If all you do, they're going to boo you. They're going to curse at you. They're going to spit at you. Just follow him around and don't get sent off.
So it's like in the NBA when you have a guy who just goes in and fouls guys over and over until they so like you foul him. Once you get a yellow, a couple more fouls, and then we're going to sub you out. Make sure you don't get sent off.
I think we're onto something.
Okay. All right. The other side of the Eastern semifinals. Philly lost at home to NYCFC. This actually shocked me a bit. I thought Philly were going to win the game. Matt Freese was fantastic. His confidence, you see it soaring to him, and he's starting to look the part. He is. Now, this isn't a World Cup, I get it, but he is starting to look the part. And as I've said all along, I think Philly made a mistake by hiring Bradley Carnell. I'm just kidding. They won the Supporters' Shield, so
Yes.
Credit to them, but
massive credit.
But this is a big loss, and congrats to NYC. I mean, nobody had them picked to go to the conference final. That's for sure.
No, I don't. I mean, obviously they're backing themselves, but I don't even know if they would have thought they'd get this far. You know, I think they're kind of accepting the underdog role, which, by the way, isn't how NYCFC or City Football Group views themselves, right? But this particular team is certainly punching above their weight. Yeah, I thought it was a good game. You know, particularly with some of the injuries that they've been dealing with, sort of figuring out how they were going to get a win. Look, Philadelphia was phenomenal, by the way, phenomenal. I give them so much credit. Won the Supporters Shield. I thought they were brilliant on the season. You know, the thing about Matt Freese, and for me, we have to talk about it because I've said all along, as much as I like him, I could probably on a list of things that are good about Matt Freese, it's really long for me. And then the couple question marks again, as I mentioned last episode. You know, the question marks are he doesn't have those like signature moments, right? Like he hasn't played long enough internationally to have like those signature moments. But last night for me,
yeah, you're right.
Not that translates necessarily to a World Cup, but like that for me was, you mentioned it. He's confident. He knows he's the number one with the national team, right? So he's making saves, and I remember, like, you don't have to be like me to be good, but I remember like making big saves and getting up from that save and like just like pumping my chest and celebrating, and it was kind of like, like Donnarumma does that at Man City. Like he's all. Not every save is just like, oh yeah, I was supposed to make the save. It's like, hey, I made that save. That was a big save. Right. And he did it a bunch. He had the one that came across the goal and he slides to the near, gets all the way across the near post, and he makes like a double save off of his legs. Then there was a top hand save that I thought was going in. It was really tight and he just flicks it. There was a bunch of saves where it really felt like, you know, it was kind of like a coming of age for him. Like he's made those saves before, but he's not had that game whilst he was the U.S. number one. And so there's all these things are trending in a really good way.
And if he has another one in Miami this weekend, then
boy.
You can start. You know what he does, what he looks like to me, Tim? When I went against goalkeepers who were in that type of form or whatever, you just look bigger to us. Like physically, you just look bigger. The goal looks smaller, and you're like, oh man, this can be hard to score today.
Yeah,
and he's got that about him.
He has, and not many MLS goalkeepers do. You know who I feel that way about is it's like Stephen Fry. Like when you go in on like on a one-on-one, I'm like, he ain't scoring, right? Because he has that looks small. The goal looks small. He has that presence. So yeah. Well done, New York City.
Did you see this Andre Blake sprint back?
It
was wild. I was
crying.
The ball turns over at like midfield. NYCFC hits a long shot that I think is bending into the goal. And Andre Blake turns and goes on a full sprint. And right before it goes in, like lunges and knocks it wide for a corner. And then rolls over and grabs his hamstring right away. I shouldn't be laughing, but like it you know, this is an interesting, and I want to talk about this seriously for a minute. So depending on how you play as a team, I believe strongly in this. You might tell me I'm full of it. Your goalkeeper needs to train accordingly. So I'll give you an example. With Loyal, we used our goalkeeper really, really high, like almost as an extra center back in buildup. And as part of training on Thursday every week, we had him at sort of the back of the circle and turn and sprint like 3 or 4 times on a Thursday. So his body got used to, because a goalkeeper, how often do you really, really sprint?
Yeah.
Almost never, right? In your time?
No.
Almost never. And so if you're not accustomed to that, and look, they couldn't have prepared for this. He was high because they were trying to tie the game or whatever, but you're not used to that. And this poor guy, man, his hamstring, you could just see it go.
So it was cold as well. So like, I mean, he was legging it. It's a great save. And then earlier I was on the desk with NBC, and a couple hours earlier we saw it with David Raya. So he was really high, the Arsenal goalkeeper, and Richarlison for Spurs gets it on a turnover from Zubimendi, turns and just clips it over his head. And it happens. But the problem with being like, this is the issue with being a really high advanced goalkeeper. It's a little bit of a piss take. And here's why. No, here's why. Because you can be available. Turnovers happen. We just discussed that with Messi. You can be available for your team, right? You don't have to be stationary. You don't have to be deep. You don't have to be high. You're like every other footballer. So if your team's in possession, you can be like advanced, but you're like, they don't need me. Now, if you're reading the game and going, oh, my left fullback's about to turn out here, I can advance and make an angle.
That's right.
You don't just go up there and stand for the sake of it because there's too many turnovers, right? And so if you're that high, it's a bit of a piss take. But
well, it's also then you got to be really engaged every second. I'm sure there are moments where we're just berating a team corner kick, and you're kind of like, okay, I'm just tuned out for a second. Right. But if you're going to play that way, you got to be really dialed. Yeah. All right. Curious to know your guys' thoughts. NYCFC traveling to Miami. Miami, by the way, now stay at home the rest of the playoffs if they keep winning. So they host the semifinal, the conference final, and they would host MLS Cup should they get there. What do you guys think? NYCFC, can Matt Freese and company go into Miami and beat Lionel Messi? Let us know.
All right, LD, it's time for the Unfiltered Refresh sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Get Coors Light delivered. Go to CoorsLight.com/USLNT. Okay, who chose chill from this past week in MLS? I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick, and I like it.
Well, I think every week we could say Lionel Messi because he just does all the things every week, and he just gets kind of boring. His manager, Tim, made a really, really difficult decision. So they've got a young Argentine named Silvetti, and 2 weeks ago, Luis Suarez gets sent off, or he gets, I think, retroactively sent off for an incident. So he doesn't start last week. Silvetti comes in, plays well. And so Mascherano has this decision to make. Do I bring in the World Cup veteran, this big player who's played at big clubs at Liverpool, all over the world? Or do I stick with this 19-year-old who played really well and helped us win? And conventional wisdom said, of course, Mascherano is going to play Luis Suarez. And guess what he did? He didn't. He played Silvetti. He had a goal, assisted on the first goal to Messi. He was fantastic. And Javier Mascherano chose chill big time by making a big decision. Could not have been easy.
Yeah, and here's the interesting part for me, LD. They're friends.
Yeah.
They're former teammates.
Right.
Now he's his player, of course, the way that the dynamic is. But it's a really difficult conversation. And more importantly, this is where my mind goes, because it's all about winning. If you have to try and if you're Mascherano, you have to try and keep Suarez onside. Here's why. If Miami gets to a point anytime in this playoffs and they go to a penalty shootout, as an example, guess who I'm putting on? Because that guy's got ice water in his veins, right? But you only can put him on in situations if he hasn't down tools, if he's still bought in.
Yeah.
So that's a big moment. Well done to Javier.
I mean,
Mascherano.
look, I watched Suarez came onto the field and he was into it, right? So credit to him for doing that. Credit to Mascherano for doing that. Before we cheers you, Mascherano, I just want to remind you, I did nutmeg you in a Merseyside derby. You will remember it. We will find the video. But congrats to you for choosing chill, Mr. Mascherano. Okay, let's move on. USMNT on USLNT. Just what are your final thoughts on the window? And then in particular, Pochettino had some interesting. He was pretty feisty in his press conference. We did the live show right after, so we didn't get to see it until after. But he kind of went after some reporters. He said we don't have, quote, regular players. We've sort of disagreed with that.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I hate that. No regular players. What means? It's USA playing. It's the national team. Stop with that mindset. Every time that our decision is about to pick and start in 11, is the US men national team playing. And after 1 year, I think you need to really know me that I hate to talk in this way. It's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful because I think we need to give credit to all the guys that today were involved, and again Paraguay too.
Yeah. I'm probably going to talk out of both sides of my mouth here for a second, which I don't like to do. But we needed that. Like, we needed to have some of our fringe players play big roles, and for the manager to be able to threaten and say, I am going to play these players. I'm going to reward these players for good performances, no matter who they are, right? We needed that. That needed to be part of the squad building and the competition within the group. I do believe that every team, this isn't specific, and I can't say enough of how much I respect Pochettino and who he is as a person, as a manager. But in every team, there's an A team and a B team. Maybe not a full A and B team, but there's I don't know if you're a good enough team if you don't have 8 players, if I go to every manager in the world, like if I went to Liverpool, right? Because you talked about disrespect. If I talked about Liverpool right now, you know what I could say? I know who their best 8 players are. And Slot knows that. He ain't playing Endo every week because he had a good week in training. Like Gravenberch is playing. So it isn't disrespectful. And I think every team across the world, international or club, has 8 players that they're like, these are our best players. They play at the best clubs. They're the best. They're the most talented at club ball. They're the highest paid. They're the biggest transfer. So that's normal. That's normal. I appreciate what Pochettino's saying, and I could be wrong come June or July, but at the first game of the World Cup, if everyone's fit and healthy, I know who's playing. So no matter how great certain players have played over the last 12 months, I know who's playing. I think.
Yeah, I'm torn on this because when you coach, there is super high value in people knowing their roles.
Yeah.
And when there's ambiguity, you see ego. Competition is good, but when there's ambiguity as to like every week you don't know if this player's going to play or that player's going to play, the players sense it, they feel it, the anxiety, and then the managing of it as a coach is very challenging because then you got to talk to that player every week. Sorry, you're not in. Well, I was in last week. Why am I not in this week? And it becomes very challenging as a coach. Now, with a national team, you're not with them all the time. So there are all sorts of circumstances that have changed. Think about this. Their last game was November. Their next game is March. So all sorts of things will have changed. So if Berhalter's not starting or Roldan or Tessman, there could be a lot of factors. But it does become challenging. And I think the more people understand the role, they're more comfortable. We had a few players at Loyal who at first I was way too sort of, there's too much ambiguity. It was like, well, you may be starting, you may not, and after a while, it was like, look, you're going to come off the bench for us. And 5 to 10 games a year, you're going to start, but the rest, I need you to be the best 30-minute player in the league. And once they kind of make peace with that, then it's easier. So I think it's going to be a little bit challenging as they get close to the World Cup if there's not clarity in that way. But also to his credit, the reason why that, we'll say, quote, B team perform that way was because they feel like they have a chance to be the starter still.
Fair.
And they do.
Fair.
In his eyes, they probably do. Yeah.
You don't believe that though, right? Do you? You believe?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. Okay. I believe in his head, he knows who his 8, 9, 10 starters are. Maybe there's 1 or 2 that are on the bubble, but yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Speaking of on the bubble, okay, let's do a little thing we're going to call on the team, on the bubble, on the outs. Okay, you go first, and then I'm going to.
Whoa. I can make it my pen and pad.
Okay.
On the team.
On the team.
Yeah, and then we have on the
bubble.
Yep.
Or on the outs.
Outs.
And this is as of today, of course.
As of right
let's
now.
start with our man started again this weekend for Leeds, Brendan Aronson.
I think I want to say bubble, but I think he's in. I got him in.
You got him on the team.
No, I'm going to put him on a bubble right now.
You just
talked me out of it with one random question. You talked me out of it. I think he's in, but go okay. You.
I got him on the bubble.
Okay,
for sure.
Okay,
Matt Turner,
team.
Yeah, he's on the team.
Definitely.
This is a good one. Sebastian Berhalter.
I think Sebastian, for me, has to be on the team. But he's on the bubble. Yeah. I do. He's on the bubble. I'm putting him on the bubble, but I think he's on the team.
Okay. I'm putting him on the bubble too.
Okay.
I think he's on the bubble leaning in, but he's on the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. And at first when we talked through this, I was like, no, of course. But the more I think about it, this guy's played in one window over the last year and got left back again. Now, you can talk about why and the excuse or whatever.
Yeah.
Weston McKennie, on the team, on the bubble, on the outs.
Yeah. Here, this is a good list. We got some good producers. Shout out to them. Weston McKennie, for me, is on the team. But can I give you a caveat? Because I've given you a caveat on everyone except Matt Turner.
Sure.
Weston McKennie's on the team, but there are, in almost every squad, that's a lie. In a lot of squads, there's always there's always one that you're like, huh? You know, that gets left off for like.
I'm well aware.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm preaching to converted, but like I think of like could that be Jack Grealish this year for England? It was Zach Steffen last World Cup. You know, it was yourself. So there's always one where you're like, duh, of course that person has to be going to the World Cup. That's Weston McKennie, of course. What? In terms of talent and experience, he's our top 3 best players. But there's some things that have trended and have happened, which, like the last camp, which I could be wrong, but if you put a bag full of money next to me right now, I'd take it to Vegas and I'd say that story, that's full of shit. I'm taking the other side of that story of why he didn't come.
So you got him on the bubble, on the team?
I got him on the team.
I have him on the team too, and I think I would have changed that to on the bubble, or maybe even on the outs at different points this year. I think Pochettino has made him very uncomfortable in a good way, so that there's no entitlement, no expectation that he's going to be there. And when he's there, no expectation, no entitlement that he's going to play. And I think because of that, Wes will continue to perform well at Juve. And I think when it's time, like next camp, I expect him to be there in March, and the attitude will be right. So
we think he'll be there in March. You would expect, but like, I mean,
who knows?
March also marks a year that he will have only been in camp one time.
Right.
One time.
Yeah. No, I know.
So we're talking about a guy who's
I know, it's like
who's on the team, who has learned lessons, who understands roles, who come March, the next time the team is selected, will have only been in camp one time. I said this to you, Landon. I said this to you. Name me another national team around the world where a guy was fit for selection and only came in. Maybe he wasn't fit all the time, but a team's top 3 player for a top 25 team in the world, a FIFA ranked top 25 team in the world. One of their best 3 players came into the team one time in a year, and the answer to that is don't even worry about the research. There's not. So, right.
I know. It's like the data tells you he's on the bubble or on the outs. That's what the data. That's the reality of it. But then you think about it, you're like,
my heart tells me he's in. He has to be in. He's
right.
What he does for our country and this team is fantastic when he's there. I'm curious to see what our listeners think. I'm definitely give us your thoughts on that.
Leave comments. If we're right, we're wrong. Let us know. But it's getting to the point now where it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Last thing here. So Christian, yesterday, Milan Derby. This is it. I think we take this for granted. And I'm not saying he's Messi, but I'm saying in the same way we take what Messi does for granted, we're taking Christian for granted in the prime of his career. Yeah. Milan Derby scores the winner. He has never lost now. Milan Derby. Yeah. Listen to this stat. This is wild. In the last 3 years in the Serie A, 48 goal contributions. That's 16 a year average. And by the way, we're not even halfway through this year. Yeah. Tied with Lautaro Martinez for the most in Serie A in that time. You can argue he has been the best player in Serie A consistently over the last 3 years.
100%.
And we take that for granted.
I just think, he was phenomenal yesterday. I also look at his record in the Derby, and you mentioned it, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 8 derbies, 3 goals. Derbies are big moments. And by the way, if you've never been to a Milan Derby, do yourself a favor and just get a ticket to Milan and go see a game. It's amazing. One of my favorite derbies. But those are big moments. And he stands up and is counted in big moments. And I feel like he always has been. You know, I often reference the times where he played at Chelsea, and I thought he got the raw end of the deal. Because, as we know with Chelsea, they were buying young players and going through managers and rotating and doing all the things. So that wasn't a mark on Christian that it didn't work out there. He had some really good performances, and so I think he's a big time player. I think he's a big club player. I randomly heard, and I can't even quote my source because I don't remember it, that United are interested in him, or that they were informed or something. Amazing. They should because again, if that's the case, and again that could be hearsay, but if that's the case, I mean that's someone who would fit right in there, who would do a brilliant job. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Someone's got to pay Tim all that money, so we're gonna go pay the bills. When we come back, we're talking the English Premier League right here on Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, presented by Volkswagen. Stick around. The Unfiltered Soccer podcast is brought to you by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
Find out more about how VW is supporting U.S. Soccer at VW.com. And check out the Tiguan, bringing nice things to everyone.
Rolling sound, quiet.
Reset.
Hi, I'm referee number 2. So sorry I'm late. Violation. Red card.
And cut.
I can do it again.
Moving on.
Oh, we got it.
So this is your car, huh?
Yeah. Bye, guys.
How much are we paying this guy?
I don't even know who that is.
There's a certain energy to soccer in Latin America. The footwork, the creativity, the passion from fans. It's more than a sport. It's a rhythm. That same spirit shows up in Café Bustelo. Bold, vibrant, smooth. Turn up the Latin flavor Café Bustelo has been bringing for generations. You can't miss this iconic staple anywhere. From the bodega to your local grocery store, they are everywhere. And now there's even more to love. They released a whole new line of roasts to match every mood. Light roast, medium, dark, and dulce de leche. Each one with its own vibe. Available in pre-packed bags and K-Cup pods. Delicious hot or iced. However you take your coffee, Café Bustelo shows up strong. I like mine black, strong, every afternoon. Café Bustelo is more than coffee. It makes you feel alive. Try the new Café Bustelo roasts today.
Soccer isn't just the world's game, it's your game. And now FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn every match into a bigger win with a same-game parlay profit boost. Build your SGP your way. First goal scorer, corners, player shots, match result, or mix it all together. Then apply your profit boost to give your custom bet the boost it deserves. This week, watching UEFA Champions League, I cannot wait to see Arsenal Bayern Munich. I've got Arsenal to win with Bukayo Saka and Harry Kane to either score or assist, and Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya to make 2 or more saves, plus 1,100 on the 4-leg same-game parlay for this week. Just open the FanDuel app, create your same-game parlay, apply the boost right in your bet slip, and you're set. Visit the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started.
All right, LG, let's chitty chat some Premier League. It was a very interesting weekend in the Premier League. Lots going on, as there always is. Never a dull moment.
No.
Liverpool, have to start there. We have to start there.
Oh, not a dry eye in the house.
Liverpool lost at home to Forest 3-0. 3-0, man. That's
They
wild.
didn't just lose, bud. They got pumped.
Yeah.
They got pumped. My first question is, and this is for you and for our fans.
Hmm.
You know when you like if you bought a car in the last like 3 or 5 years,
Yeah.
and you're in like the snow somewhere and you get in and it's freezing cold, and then you can turn on that little seat warmer thing.
Yeah.
And it's like not burning hot yet, but you start to
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
it and you're like, oh, that's nice and warm. Is Arne Slot feeling a little bit of that heat right now? Is it getting a little warm? I know he just won a title and all
Yeah.
that, but like at some point, if you're going to miss out on Europe is it starting to, are they having conversations yet?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Liverpool fans don't need any more reason to hate me. But I don't think – I'm not a big fan of managers getting sacked. I want to give managers time. I want to give them transfer windows and all that. But you know as well as I do, it is hard. It is hard when you're at the top. Other things play into it, LD. Here's what I would say. No, I don't think his seat. Your seat's
You don't
always
think it's
warm.
warming at all? Oh, yeah, it's always warm.
I think your seat's always warm. What I would say is, let me start here. And again, this is going to be a bit blasphemous against the Dutch because I have a lot of Dutch friends. But Dutch managers haven't had brilliant success in the Premier League.
Mhm.
Okay, if someone wants to write in and tell me I'm wrong and state your claim, sure. But I'm thinking of the ones that I can remember haven't had a ton of success. It just doesn't seem to translate that well from the managerial level. That's not to say that Slot isn't a good manager because he is. Last year, he had Jurgen Klopp's team, right, LD? That was his team. The only player he added was Chiesa, who barely saw the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
And the credit to Slot goes, he tweaked the system a little bit, right? So instead of that heavy metal Jurgen Klopp 4-3-3, everybody's flying forward. We're only keeping Van Dijk and Konate at the back. Both of my fullbacks are flying forward to help and support and press. He's like, all right, let's pull back just a little bit. Like we still want to be aggressive, but we want to possess the ball and build the game a bit more. And that won them the title. I just think with you talk about the tragic passing of Diogo Jota, Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving, Luis Diaz leaving, which, by the way, someone brought this to my attention this week. I think it was Robbie Earl. That doesn't get talked about enough, by the way.
Yeah, you're right.
Luis Diaz leaving doesn't get talked about, and how important that was. And so, okay, normal. You get rid of certain players, you sell certain players on, or they leave on a free, and then you add. And by the way, Slot deserved the right after winning the title to say, hey, now you're going to back me, and now I'm going to bring my own players in, right? So we did. He brought Ekitike, Wirtz, Frimpong, Kirkez from Bournemouth, Isak. So he brought a lot of big players. I mean, he spent a lot of money, LD, and it hasn't seemed to work out for various reasons. And the test is going to be for Liverpool and for the board, if you're talking about is the seat hot, if they get deeper into this season, I think they're in 11th place now. If they get deeper into this season and they're looking like they're going to miss out on Europe, then I think people are going to start getting like uncomfortable. But even then, I would say, I would definitely not even have the conversation about sacking Slot, because I think managers need time. I know you don't get it. But I know you don't get time, but I think he obviously needs the time. And he's earned it, by the way. He's earned it.
Yeah, it's almost to his detriment that he won last year, right? Like if these seasons had been flipped,
sure,
now he'd be like, okay, now I had my time.
Yeah.
But, the old saying is, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the grass isn't always greener. And I think what people forgot about Liverpool, and this is, in my opinion, the best teams in the world in every sport, continuity is so valuable.
Yeah.
And so now Luis Diaz leaves, Trent Alexander-Arnold leaves, the passing of Jota, and then come in these guys, Wirtz, Kirkez, Frimpong, and it doesn't mean that it's going to work out, right? They don't just fit in naturally, and especially when you come from different leagues, like the Premier League, I can speak to it. It is so hard to adapt to. It is so hard to adapt to. And so I think maybe he had the right to, yes, and far be it from me to speak to a manager who's won a Premier League title,
right.
But the grass isn't always greener. And I think he got a little out over his skis saying, yeah, now I can spend all this money on these guys I want. And he had a really good team. The other thing, Tim, and I think, I know there's criticism of Mo Salah, right?
Yeah.
And there's criticism of Isak, and I'll let you talk about Isak in a minute. But Mo Salah, people forget, last year was so motivated because he wanted that new contract. And so every week he was like, I am going to show these guys and I'm going to force them. And they had no choice but to give him a new deal. It is human nature, man, to just take your foot off a little bit.
Sure.
And at that level, you take off 10% and you're not the same player. You're not the same player.
I know.
And that is a big piece of this too.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the question also gets asked about, would you play, should he play Ekitike up front or Isak? And look, Ekitike earned the right early on to keep the shirt because he was scoring. He was scoring goals. He was fitting the system. He looked great. I think he scored on international duty for France last week. But Isak, and this is what people don't understand sometimes on the outside. You pay 120 some odd million for somebody, you're playing. That's how this works. And so the issue for me with Isak, and by the way, I'm on record saying I think that guy's like a top 3 striker in the world. I do. I think he's brilliant. And I think we've interviewed him a time or two. I can't remember where we've seen the way he speaks, and I like everything about him. What I didn't like is how he handled the transfer this summer. So we manufactured the move from Newcastle to Liverpool. It's normal. It happens. People do that. But what he did is he downed tools, LD. And I've spoken of this. He did it in the wrong way because players think they've got to throw their toys out of the crib. What he should have done, and I believe all players that are manufacturing a move need to do, is you're talking to everybody, LD. You're talking to the board. You're talking to the manager. You're talking to your agent. Get everybody in a room and say, I'm going to be the best teammate to my Newcastle teammates that you've ever seen this preseason. I'm going to do extra running. I'm going to be available. I'm going to have a smile on my face. I'm going to do everything you've asked. I'm going to be on time for every meeting. I'm going to be me. But don't mistake that for the fact that I want to stay here. I don't. I want to get down the road to Liverpool. Okay? So do everything in your power to make that happen. That way you take the fitness side off the table. Because what has Arne Slot talked about
that's right.
all since Isak walked through the door? When's he going to play? Well, we're still getting up to full fitness. When's he going to play? Still about 3 weeks away. So Isak did that to himself, right? Then you couple that with not scoring. Okay? Sometimes you score, sometimes you don't. But what happened was, not only is he not scoring, people are questioning his fitness. The manager, why are you questioning his fitness? Because he didn't train for half the summer because he downed tools to manufacture a move. So that's on him.
And by the way, people don't appreciate how much it's a new team, new system, new manager, new players, new city. You're changing. I mean, it's not that far, but you're changing. Everything's changing in your life. And so you need time to get up to speed. And at Newcastle, it was a well-oiled machine. Like, they knew where he was running, what he was doing, understanding your partnerships on the field. That stuff's crucial, man.
Yeah.
It's crucial. Okay. Newcastle City, we'll just kind of gloss over this one. Big win for Newcastle City. They're not the same city. They still are in third. But it's a bad loss for City. It is.
Well, listen, I want to get the fans, before we move to I want to get the fans' thoughts. Let us know if you think Slot is on the hot seat, how he should be handling the striker situation. That's a big one. That's what everyone's talking about. So let us know. I think the Manchester City, this was an interesting one for me, because like, going to Newcastle with that team, the way Eddie Howe coaches them, like, there's no shame in losing there. But Newcastle were trending this way,
right?
And City were trending that way. Like, you're like, oh, I had it nailed on as a City win. But again, I think what it shows us is, even though I think Newcastle are like sitting in 15th, like, ultimately at the end of the day, they're going to be inside that top 8, probably top 6, right? Like, so right now things aren't going well, but like, it doesn't surprise you that they had a big performance against City. So City, it was, they dropped points, and that was a huge one, because I thought they were trying to claw back. They were trying to claw back a few points of momentum from Arsenal, and it ended up being Arsenal's literally picture perfect weekend.
Yeah, it was actually the other way, and now they're 7 points back because the Gunners, North London Derby, beat Spurs, and man, was this this is brutal.
I thought it was a derby, but it ended up being a training session. I don't think the derby happened.
Maybe it's later in the year. I mean, 4-1. So, for people who don't know, so Eze was about to be a Spurs player. And the last minute changed his mind, and he signed with their rival, Arsenal. And then on Sunday, absolutely crushes them with the first North London Derby hat trick in 47 years. I was shocked.
Henry didn't have one. Harry Kane didn't have one.
Incredible.
It's crazy,
right?
Huh?
So the first North London Derby hat trick in 47 years, and they absolutely dismantled Spurs. I think Spurs had a .07 XG. I mean, they looked lost. If they're looking for a manager, I hear Ange is available still. No, they look lost, and Thomas Frank, that had to be his worst day as a Spurs manager. What happened? What do you put that down to?
Well, it was Tottenham was so bad that at one point in the first half, I said they should get half a point if they get possession in Arsenal's half. They couldn't get out. So what happened was this. They ended up playing in a back 3, which we know is a back 5, right? Out of possession. And so they got pinned in, and that was a big credit to how Arsenal attacked them, the back 5. But Thomas Frank at his best at Brentford, there's facets to this. He was brilliant because he brought them through. He brought them out of the Championship into the Premier League. And one of the things he hung his hat on was being flexible tactically. So he would happily week to week play in a back 5 and then a back 4. And he often talked about with Brentford, because they were the David versus everybody's Goliath. He would say, when we play a big 6 team, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, whoever, we're going to play in a back 5, right? Because we have flexibility. When we play against other teams outside of that, we're going to play in a back 4. Which you're conceding the fact that you're the lesser team. It's no problem. but also he had been with his team. They're like, no problem, Gaffer. Back
That's
five,
right.
cool. No problem,
They knew
Gaffer.
it.
Back
They
four.
knew it.
They knew,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He's implemented, and that's when he's at his best. He's implemented that with a group of players that muscle memory is a big thing. You know this, LD. They played radically high under Ange, and they sprinted back. Okay. And it wasn't even like anything we've ever seen in the Premier League. So you're trying to unlearn some of these things and then learn two different formations. So that's
right.
three things you're trying to pick up as a player. And then the other part that is really important, and I'm interested, this is the biggest part, this is 1 or 1A, is Spurs as a club, as a board, as a fan base, they are the big six team that you use to change your formation for. So
There's
you
like an
as
ego there.
So you as a manager of Tottenham can't say against another big six, against a Man United or against an Arsenal, we're going to play cautious because guess what? You've got 90,000 fans that don't want to hear that. So there's a dilemma there. There's a dilemma there, and not to mention the one of the most important things is he doesn't have Kulusevski, he doesn't have Solanke, he doesn't have Madison. He has so many injuries to big players that like I'm just telling everybody to pump the brakes because Thomas Frank is a very good manager.
I always wondered this with big clubs bringing in managers. Like, do you go get someone who was at Brighton or Brentford or Watford or do you go get somebody from another country or from the top of the championship or who knows how to be a big club who has to go places and dominate? And it's a really interesting
question.
Yeah, it is, because it's completely different for him, to your point. Coaching Brentford versus managing Spurs, completely different.
Yeah.
All right, it's stoppage time, sponsored by FanDuel. New customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started. All right, Champions League this week, Arsenal, Bayern Munich. These two last met in a quarterfinal round of the 2023-2024 Champions League, where FC Bayern won 3-2 on aggregate. In my opinion, these could be two of, if not the two best teams in the world right now. They're first and second in the Champions League table. Arsenal hold a 6-point lead in the Premier League. Bayern hold a 6-point lead in the Bundesliga. Harry Kane with 24 goals. It's a really, really intriguing matchup. Arsenal's defense has been so good, but Bayern score goals for fun. So they have, I believe, 64 goals now in all competitions. David Raya, on the other hand, has 11 clean sheets. It's also worth noting Luis Diaz will be out. That's a big miss, as he picked up a red card in their last Champions League match versus PSG. Unfiltered Soccer's same game parlay this week is for Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. I've got Arsenal to win with Bukayo Saka and Harry Kane to score or assist, and Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya to make 2 or more saves, plus 1,100 on the 4-leg same-game parlay for this week. Don't forget to check out the full same-game parlay on our socials later this week. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into your questions in the AT&T Fan Connection right here on Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, presented by Volkswagen. This episode is brought to you by Airbnb. Tim, nothing like MLS playoff season. My favorite time of year, end of August, September. It's cold. You travel to the Midwest or the eastern cities. The leaves are changing. You get outside. It's freezing for the game. I love this time of year.
Yeah, totally, LD. Playoffs are what make American sports unique. It's how you end up with an underdog team making some insane run for the championship or David and Goliath duking it out in the final.
Yeah, you don't want to miss a second of the playoffs, no matter where your MLS team might be playing. In the first round alone, fans from New York are heading down to Charlotte. Dallas fans making the trip up to the Pacific Northwest to play against Vancouver. Last year in the final, the Red Bulls had to come all the way down to SoCal, where my Galaxy beat your Red Bulls, Tim.
Soccer fans in the U.S. are dedicated to their teams and making the journey to support those teams as they make a run for the MLS Cup. Whether it's the first time or the 6th is a top priority.
Yeah, MLS fans bring the energy everywhere they go, so why not let that passion pay off? While you're on the road supporting your team, you could open your home to fellow fans on Airbnb. Hosting your home on Airbnb while you travel is an easy way to earn a little extra and keep the spirit of soccer alive, even when you're away.
Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
All right, Tim, it is holiday season, and boy, do I need to choose chill sometimes. Thanksgiving's an interesting one for me. I go with the in-laws to a hotel. It's nice. Most of them I like. Some of them are a bit challenging. Sometimes I got to walk outside, grab a Coors Light, choose chill. Christmas is fun. I enjoy it. I love it. All the things that come with it, but the kids are home for 2 weeks, and that is brutal sometimes. So sometimes turn on the hot tub, go out in the jacuzzi, watch a football game, grab a Coors Light, and chill.
Yeah, you're right. It's always about family around the holidays, and of course, big family meals. Every time I finish eating, I'm out back. I get around the fire. I reach in the cooler, grab a cold Coors Light, and choose chill because, as you mentioned, it's hectic. And then at some point, someone calls me inside to play spoons or card games, and so I'm having a Coors Light, choosing chill.
When you embrace a chill mindset this holiday, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light.
Choose chill this holiday season, and then reach for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/USLNT, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer.
Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's nothing better than feeling like someone has your back and that things are going to get done even without you having to ask. Like your crisp new jersey waiting for you in the locker room or a perfectly set up wall for a free kick.
Yeah, as we at Unfiltered Soccer get ready for next summer, we know that very little in the beautiful game is guaranteed. But as we prepare to bring our unfiltered brand of nonstop soccer coverage, it's good to know AT&T has your back with the AT&T Guarantee.
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service. That's the AT&T Guarantee.
Learn more at att.com/guarantee. AT&T, connecting changes everything.
Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or a wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Must be connected to impacted towers at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details. It's time for the Fan Connection presented by AT&T. Every week we invite you, the listener, to connect with us by submitting your questions. At AT&T, connecting changes everything. And on USLNT, our connections with you will help grow the game. All right, the AT&T Fan Connection LD, everyone's favorite time of the week. Jordan, how are you? Are you wearing a Milan shirt?
AC Milan.
Yeah, this is the AC Milan 125th anniversary shirt from last season.
Are you a Pulisic fan?
I mean, I want to see the U.S. men's national team do well, no matter where they're playing. So he had a good weekend.
He was good yesterday. Yeah.
He had a very good
Right,
weekend.
he was.
Nice shirt.
Thanks.
Did you also get that from, where'd you get that? Canal Street?
Did I get it? I think I did. I maybe did.
That's where everyone gets their shirts.
Should we get into some questions? Because I have several.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
First one. This one is from Javi via email. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody who puts the pronunciation of their name in their email so that I get it right. Really appreciate that.
Nice.
We don't butcher it.
Okay, so Javi's question is, now that MLS has announced that it will be changing the calendar to align with the rest of the world, in your guys' opinion, what's the next step? I think the salary cap and the idea of DP players limits the potential of the teams and the league overall. But what do you guys think?
I don't know how you put the genie back in the bottle. I don't love the DP structure. I've been open about that. Like I think a lot of teams, when you go get soft serve ice cream LD and you get your cup, right? And then you swirl all the ice cream and then you put all the toppings and you put the cherry on top. Like that's how you make an ice cream sundae, right? I think a lot of MLS teams get the cup and they go buy the cherry and they put the cherry in and then they put the ice cream in. You know what I'm saying?
The cherry is melted.
So LAFC, Vancouver, these are great examples of like build your team to be a successful team and then put the cherry on top. And so the reason I say that, LD, is so many teams do it the other way. And don't forget, DPs, the percentage of extending a DP's contract or them staying in the league is like 10%. So that means they're playing their contract and they're leaving. So if you bring a DP and put them on a crap team, you've lost a year. Do they understand the language? Does their family get settled? You're losing a year. So now you've spent a ton of money on a player and you consistently spend tons of money on a player. And the first year is like a bit of a wash. Don't know if he's going to come in. So anyway, So the DP structure, whether you can put the genie back in the bottle or it needs a revamp, I don't know.
But the structure, Tim, the structure wouldn't change that.
Sure,
Right? Like
you're
if
right.
the
Yeah,
structure
you're
was gone, teams would still go get.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So I
But
think yeah, go ahead.
Maybe then for me, the other part of that is creating a salary cap, right? Creating a hard cap and a luxury tax. And that's worked in a lot of places. Sure, there's arguments against it, of course, but you and I have talked about this on the show. There has been a handbrake on MLS that they've slowly taken off. But the idea was at the beginning, it was like, let's not F this up. Let's not create another soccer league in North America and have it fold, right? So that was the parameters of which they worked on. And they've slowly worked that back. They now have people in positions, really high, strong decision-making positions that are football people, that are versed in this game, that have their PhD in football. We need to let them make those decisions. So maybe extending the cap, making it a hard cap and creating a luxury tax, there's a conversation there.
The other thing they have is 30 billionaires. Right, who are not going broke. They're not going to lose their money. They can make the decision. If they want to spend 30 million to bring in Messi or Cristiano, they can do it. You don't need to hold their hand and show them what to do. So I also, for the record, I don't like the idea of just opening it up, free market, spend as much as you want, because that can create issues too. But I love the idea of having a hard cap, 30, 40, 50 million. Yeah. Have a minimum spend. Yep. So the Players Association is how we call it 15 million, 20 million. But then you spend the money however you want. If you want to spend 10 million on a transfer and pay the guy 100 grand, fine. If you want to spend $1 million on a transfer and pay him 10 million a year, you do what you want. But I think that would be a much safer and much more enjoyable and entertainment forward process for the league to go through.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, I have a question from Nick via email, but it's really 2 questions, and I was trying to decide between the 2 of them and couldn't. So congratulations, Nick. You won this week.
Nice
both of your
Nick.
questions are getting asked. So they're both about the World Cup. The first question is, the auto bid has undoubtedly changed the type of competition we have leading up to the World Cup. What's a better format for future hosts? Guaranteed pot 4 and play to earn? I feel this could be a detriment heading into 2026 without true competitive matches, which I think you guys have talked about. But I like that he was giving you a suggestion for could we do something else for the hosts?
What's he saying? Guaranteed pot 4 with what?
And play to earn. I think he means like you're guaranteed for pot 4, but you could play to end up
So you're guaranteed
higher.
To be in the tournament.
Right.
But then you go through qualifying still?
Because right now you guarantee for pot 1.
Right. That's an interesting idea. So if you, let's just use this. Canada, US, Mexico are guaranteed to be in the tournament. But at the start of qualifying, they're in pot 4. They still have to go through qualifying. So the games mean something to them. They mean something to the other teams, of course. And in the end, if US, Mexico, Canada finish 1, 2, and 3, the next 3 still get in the World Cup and the next 2 still go to the playoff. But then you can earn your way into pot 1. That's kind of an interesting idea.
Don't hate it. Yeah.
I don't hate it. Because, I don't hate it. All right, Nick,
do you think
for FIFA
it would
president.
that would help some of the issues that you guys have been talking about in terms of like the games not being competitive?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know how much the players really deep down, whether they're in pot 4, 3, 2, or 1, but like you just want the game to mean something, right? And for the coaches, they'd be like, I want to be in pot 1, right?
Yeah. And I also think it would it might eliminate my big gripe last week that was like CONCACAF could get 8 teams. Like if we're winning the World Cup, do we want it to be about pageantry or do we want it to be the best competition ever? And if we want it to be the best competition,
I know you want competition.
Yeah, that's fine.
I want Uzbekistan coming for the first time,
which is wild. Yeah, fair.
Okay. The second half of his question says, assume a group of death and we draw Morocco, Norway, and Italy via playoff. How do we focus on winning and not on the draw itself? As players, could you separate the 2?
Hang on, let me just say something. Give me those teams again.
Morocco, Norway, and Italy.
We finished top of that group.
No chance.
We finished top
You're
of that
saying
group.
That definitively?
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't say there's no. I mean, I think we can.
Then I'm
Tim, what makes you say that?
A hard group.
I don't know. If you're
Norway
telling
are good, by the way.
I know. I know.
It's not just Holland, by the way. Odegaard,
I know.
Sorloth, like they're a good team.
I know. If you're telling me that that's the group of death, that in terms of algorithms and how you can kind of flip it up, then I'm telling you, I think we win that group. Okay, or at least go through, but I think we win it.
I think we go through, but to win.
Well,
Okay,
then
let's just talk.
But you're scoffing at my idea that we win the group.
No, you said we win the group, and I was like, you can't say just we're gonna win that group. That's a hard group.
But we could easily finish second.
Could finish fourth too.
Okay, I know
all those teams could beat us.
Can I ask a follow-up question though?
Yes,
I know we're getting off of poor Nick's question. I said that he won, and now we're just kind of trampling all over him. But are you specifically saying that because you believe that the U.S., Morocco, Norway, and Italy are evenly matched?
Yeah, in a best case
I hear what
scenario.
you're saying. Yeah. Listen, I'm saying I believe, and I've said this all along, I don't have a ton of proof because of how things have gone. I believe our best team, and if I truly think, if I fast forward to the World Cup opening game, that I think our best team is on the pitch, then I think we're really effing good. That's what I think.
Agree.
Yeah,
so I agree. But Norway's going to be a pot 3 team.
Yeah.
Okay, they are way better than they're a pot 2 team.
I know.
They are. They're way better. And Italy, look.
Well, we're not a pot 1 team, so this whole thing is flipped on
exactly.
its head. I got
exactly.
You.
And Jordan, by the way, Mrs. Rizzieri, I'm sorry about your Italians, but like when we were talking about Pulisic earlier, think about this. In the last 3 years, he has the most goal contributions. Italy, we talk about Mexico not being very good. They just don't have great players anymore. Italy are kind of the same. I'm like, oh, Italy should. And then I'm like, an American is the best player in their league. That's the reality. An American is the best player in their league. And so I don't know if they're getting through the qualifying either. I don't. But to his Nick, right?
Yes.
How do you focus on playing? I talked about this. I did a Fox preview show this weekend, and we talked about the draw a lot. And for the players, you're not that focused on the draw. You're really not. The federation is, the coaches, but
that's fair.
I mean, it's fair. December. You have 6 months. You don't even know if you've made the team. Right now, there are probably 3 or 4 guys who go, I'm pretty sure I'm making Pochettino's roster. After that, because of how he's done things, you're not and you're just focused on the next game you have on Saturday. It's exciting. But you're not thinking about that.
That's a good point. And just to kind of, for 2 guys who have been through it, and it's everyone's lifelong dream, and certainly for people who haven't played in a World Cup, you can't quite grasp this concept. You dream a little dream, so you think you can go to a World Cup final. Like right now, when you go to when you land in your host city, you don't know. You're so high on life and adrenaline. You just think you can do. Like you're not going. We're in a group of death, so this is going to suck. You're like, we can do it. Like we were in a group of death in I think 2014, and like we thought we could do it, and we did. So like, you allow yourself to dream, and you're right. It's so funny, LD. As the people who probably care about the draw the least is probably the players,
right?
Yeah, which is wild, but yeah.
Okay, another World Cup question. This one is from Edgar. I will say this email was extremely long and came with screenshots, so I've had to summarize it a little bit.
Edgar. Amazing. Thank you.
Quality.
Edgar says, how do you feel about a U.S. men's national team fan like me, a Mexican immigrant to this country who was 12 years old when I fell in love with the USA during World Cup USA 94, who has followed the team since for almost every friendly Cup and World Cup match, and living in a World Cup city, I believe he lives in Houston,
all right,
only for FIFA to make tickets astronomically expensive and pricing us out of it. Could you please give me your real unfiltered opinion on these ludicrously priced events? I will tell you, in his screenshots, Edgar explained that he went to Qatar for the last World Cup. And he did have to fly himself to Qatar and pay to stay there and everything. But the game that he went to in the round of 16 against the Netherlands, he spent $96 on his ticket. He tried to buy a ticket for the June 23rd group stage game that's happening in Houston. He selected the $60 price band, and his total came out to $410 for one ticket with a $50 fee on top of that. So this is not like, it's like $50 to $100. It's like 4 times what he paid. For
Edgar, you sandbagging son of a gun. You went to Qatar, did you? Well, you don't have to pay for flights now.
Exactly.
All right.
Edgar, I'm not an economics professor, but I'm going to walk through economics. So
I know one. Sunil Gulati.
Sunil
Shout out
Gulati, there you go.
to Sunil Gulati.
This is as simple as what's the word? Demand and
Supply.
supply and demand.
Or the other
Sorry,
way around.
I'm clearly not a supply and demand.
You're not an economics professor. You're not
I'm
an
not
English professor. You're not.
Okay, supply and demand. My brain just went blank. So in Qatar, there were not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds or millions of people coming into Qatar to watch the World Cup. And so I'm sure initially the tickets were probably more expensive, but then you get down to the game, half the countries have left after the first round. So US, Netherlands, you can probably get a ticket for $100. Right now, FIFA they're floating a little trial balloon to see how many people will pay big money for these tickets, right? And interestingly, the first US game is not selling well. The second game in Seattle and the third game in LA have done really well. So what's going to happen over time, and this is just, if you go to a new neighborhood and you're looking for a house and someone says, this house is on the market for $700,000 and nobody bites, next thing you know, it's going to be $650,000 and then $600,000 and the market will dictate. It sucks. None of us like it. FIFA have plenty of money. They don't need to do it, but they are a business. They are a for-profit business. They're not a charity. They're not here to give away tickets. I don't like it as a fan. It's just the reality. And I think if you're patient and you're willing to maybe not go see US or US whoever, Morocco, if that's what it ends up being, and you're willing to watch a different game or a lower tier game, then you can get it for better prices. But it does suck. It's the reality, but it sucks.
And I would point to what you're talking about. It happened last summer at the Club World Cup. It's not the World Cup, so it's not exact science, but those tickets were high. They were high, and they didn't sell. You know what happened before the tournament? They plummeted.
Yeah.
And you could get a decent little ticket. So stay tuned.
It's a little thing we call demand and something.
Demand and something like
demand
supply.
And supply.
But Edgar, hey, the good news, Edgar, is I'll be in Houston at some point during the World Cup. Houston Dynamo and Dash are putting on watch parties in conjunction with the city. The watch parties are going to be outrageous. They're going to be fun. We can drink beers, toss them around, have a good time. So,
and Edgar, I got good news.
Silver
Tim just told me he's going to buy you tickets to the World Cup. So congratulations.
Stay tuned. Shoot me an email. What happened with my inbox? Well, actually, my inbox is full, which we know from today. One of our producers tried to email me and said, your cloud is full. Well,
Tim is so popular, his cloud is full, which I thought the cloud was meant not to ever get full, but Tim's cloud is full.
It's not that I'm not popular. I haven't checked that email in I don't know, 10 years. Sorry, Jordan, go.
The good news for everybody who's listening is that my inbox is never too full. I am always moving things around so that there's more room for new questions to come in. So you can email me at Unfiltered Soccer, feedback at unfilteredsoccer.com. And again, thank you to everyone who's being very polite to try and get their questions onto the show. I appreciate it. You guys are great.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all we got this week.
Thanks, JR. And thank you all for joining us again. Remember, as always, to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, and follow the show across all of our social media platforms at Unfiltered Soccer for bonus content. Thank you, as always, to our presenting sponsor, VW, our Fan Connection sponsor, AT&T, and our Stoppage Time sponsor, FanDuel.
Thanks also to our Unfiltered Refresh sponsor, Coors Light, and our additional sponsors, Café Bustelo and Airbnb. Have an amazing week. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of Unfiltered Soccer.